Welcome to this practice for the liver and gallbladder meridians. Let's get going straight away. Just to let you know, I'm going to be timing this on my watch. So if you see me looking at my watch, I'm setting the timer and not getting bored. Okay, so we start off in Sphinx. We'll take Sphinx for 3 minutes. I'll give you a few options. You can take a regular normal Sphinx with the elbows around about underneath the shoulders. If you want to make your Sphinx more restorative, you can put a bolster underneath your arms, something like this. If you want to make your Sphinx more active or more intense, let's say, you can lift up and give yourself a deeper back bend by putting your forearms on bricks. I'm going to take the regular option. So I'll set the timer now for 3 minutes. So settling into the shape. And first of all, choose how much engagement you need to be comfortable in the pose. So although in yin we want the body to be soft and relaxed, we also want to maintain some engagement to make the body comfortable. So some people find this quite intense compression in the lower back. So if you're feeling that yourself, first try pressing down through the pubic bone and see if that gives you some engagement in the glutes or the muscles around the hips, and maybe a lengthening of the lower back. So maybe that is enough for you. If you're still feeling too much compression, try using the foundation in the forearms. So maybe pressing away from you, or maybe dragging the arms towards you, or maybe pressing straight down. You can experiment with all those different options. For me, I find if I press the floor away, my abdomen engages and that protects my lower back, or, gives me less sensation in the lower back. But that might be something different that happens for you. If you're completely happy in your Sphinx, then just be in your Sphinx and be happy. No need to engage anything. If you're really finding it still too much in the lower back, then come into crocodile, resting your forehead on your hands. So choosing the amount of engagement, choosing your edge, and just being in the shape. Breathing and observing. Making sure the breath is soft and subtle as you drop down into your experience of the shape. We have another 30 seconds. Okay, so coming out of your Sphinx, maybe resting your forehead down on your hands, maybe wiggling your hips from side to side. Just taking a moment. And then we'll move into the next pose, which is child's pose. So bringing the hands back to the chest, lifting yourself up and pushing the hips back. And maybe you want to go straight into your child's pose and not use any props. And we're going to stay for 5 minutes. So make sure that if you take this option, you're going to be comfortable for 5 minutes. If you have anything going on with your hips or knees, any discomfort there, then maybe doing the pose lying on your back, hugging the knees to the chest would work better for you. You can also take a squat, which is again a similar position, so block under the hips and hugging the knees in. Or if you're happy to take your child's pose, like I said, you can do child's pose without using any props, or maybe you want to use a bolster either under the hips or just under the chest, choosing where you want to be. If you're going to rest your forehead down, a nice option is to take an eye bag to make it softer under the forehead. So find your comfortable position and we'll stay for 5 minutes. So again, choosing where you want to be if you need any engagement to make the body feel comfortable. And checking the breath. The breath is subtle, relaxed breathing. Maybe you want to add a very, very soft ujjayi sound to your breath. Or maybe you'd rather just breathe normally. You can choose how you prefer to breathe. And maybe see if when you breathe in, you can expand three-dimensionally. Expanding into the back body, into the side of the ribs, expanding gently into the belly and the chest. So soft, even, rhythmic breathing. Maybe observing the air as it flows in and out of your body. Feeling any sensations in the nose. Maybe the back of the throat. Maybe you can feel the air going down into the lungs. And see if you can get a sense that with each exhalation, there's a chance to let go a little bit more. And maybe scanning through your body, checking if there's any places where you're holding on, somewhere where you could possibly let go a little bit more. Maybe the muscles in the face, maybe the shoulders, maybe the belly, maybe the legs. Just really allowing your body to soften, allowing your bones to settle. And we have 30 more seconds. Okay, so nice and slowly emerging from your child's pose, walking your hands back up towards you. And let's sit for a moment so you can sit however you're comfortable sitting. Let's receive the after effects of the pose that we just did. Okay. So next pose is banana asana. So if you have a sandbag or anything that's heavy, that can be nice to place on the body in banana asana. And if you like to put an eye bag over your eyes, this is a nice option too. So let's go ahead and lie back. And we'll keep the hips where they are. And first lift up the shoulders and shift the shoulders over to the right. And then walk the feet over to the right. And you might be happy staying there, or maybe you like to cross your feet. And you can cross in both directions. Personally, I prefer to cross my right over my left, but I know some people prefer to do it the other way around. So you maybe try both and see which feels better. And then I'm going to put the sandbag on my left hip and I'm going to put my eye bag on. But first I'm going to time us 3 minutes starting from now. So adding on the arms, reaching the hands up to the ceiling, and then let the arms settle into the shoulder joint. Bend the elbows to hold on to each opposite elbow and bring your arms over your head to rest on the floor. If that's not comfortable for you, maybe holding your wrist, or maybe resting the arms on something, or maybe you'd prefer to keep your arms down by your side. So banana asana, here we go. So as we've been doing, first of all, the edge. Hopefully you're at an edge where something interesting is happening in the body, but it's not too strong, feels good. Something you can relax into, something you can soften into, somewhere where you can let go. So we choose our edge and then we breathe. So that subtle, rhythmic breathing, like a very fine thread flowing in and out of your body. And then we observe, just observing the mind, maybe thoughts, maybe emotions passing through, maybe observing sensations in the body, Probably at times you'll drift off, and when you notice you've drifted off, just very softly, very gently coming back to your observation. So seeing if you can stay present, and when you drift off, very gently coming back. Okay, so slowly emerging from your banana asana. If you're using a sandbag, taking it off, bring your legs back to the middle, then bring your shoulders back to the middle. And let's just take a couple of breaths there in the center. And then moving to the second side. So taking the shoulders off to the left and then walking the feet to the left. If you're choosing to cross the feet, go ahead. If you're using your weight, putting your weight on the right hip. If you're using your eye pillow, taking your eye pillow, and again, I'm setting the timer for 3 minutes, reaching the arms up first, and then letting the arm bones settle into the shoulder joint, and bending the elbows to hold each opposite elbow, and resting your arms over your head, and then letting go into the shape. So this yin doing, where we allow it to happen. We allow the practice to take us. So we show up in the shape. We breathe. We float off. We come back. We let the process unfold. And we have just less than 1 more minute left. Okay, so again, taking your eye bag off first and removing the weight if you're using one. uncrossing the legs, walking the legs back into the center, and shifting the shoulders back so you're straight again. And choosing, maybe you want to hug your knees up towards your chest, have a rock from side to side, or maybe you want to stretch out and make a long line. So choosing where you want to be for a little bit of time in between the poses. Okay, and then next we come into lying butterfly. So you can keep your weight and your eye bag close by if you want. And for this one, I'm going to suggest you have a long blanket rolled up. So have that handy. And you have a bolster and a couple of bricks. So we'll use the bricks to prop up the far end of the bolster to make an incline for us to lie on. I'm going to have a brick under my head. And then I'll use the weight on my belly and use the blanket underneath my legs, quite high at the top end of my legs, to support my legs as they go out to the side. So if you feel that you need more support, you could maybe use another bolster, or if you want less support, you can take the blanket away. And I'll stay here for 5 minutes, and making sure whatever shape you choose, whatever edge you choose, is going to be comfortable for 5 minutes. So, as usual, breathing. Let's see if there's anything in the body that can let go a little bit more. And then observing everything. Maybe it floats past you, maybe it stays. Just staying with the experience, letting it unfold. Okay, so taking your time, maybe removing your eye bag, removing your weight if you're using them, and slowly making your way up to sitting. And just choosing a comfortable position to sit in for your rebound time. Let's move everything out of the way. So we'll come next into lying thread the needle, and I will give you a few options. So it's nice to have something soft under your head. So I'm going to fold up my blanket nicely and put it under my head. And then have the bolster there. So the first option is to rest one foot on the bolster and cross the other ankle on the thigh and stay there. I can maybe support this leg with my hand as well. My upper arm is on the floor, so it's nice and relaxed. And that means I can just really relax the legs. If you want to, you can draw the foot that's down on the bolster, you can draw that leg towards you. So those are your options. And we will stay for 3 minutes on each side. And releasing your leg. Placing both feet down, either on the bolster or on the floor. Just taking a moment. Maybe see if the two sides feel different. And then let's do the second side. So bringing your other leg, so the ankles on the thigh, choosing if you want to keep your foot down on the bolster or if you want to draw the leg towards you. Maybe you want to support that leg that's up. And we ease gently into the shape for 3 minutes. And then releasing your leg. Just taking a moment with both feet resting down. And then we'll make our way up to sitting for one final pose. So maybe rolling onto one side and coming up for dragonfly. So if you need to sit up on something, then maybe grab a block to sit on and take the legs wide. I'm going to suggest we do it with a bolster at an angle again. So again, we put the bricks underneath the bolster at the other end of the bolster. And then you can either lie down with your head on one side, or you can fold the eye bag over. And again, rest your forehead on the eye bag. If that's not high enough for you, then you can take your bolster and maybe something like this, or maybe hugging it to your chest. So finding a way to make your dragonfly nice and comfortable, and we'll stay for 3 minutes. Okay, so slowly coming up and choosing your rebound position. So it's feeling the after effects of the shape. And then let's come into our final Shavasana position. So I'm going to put a block with a blanket on it to go under my head and take a bolster underneath my knees. And a sandbag or some heavy weighted thing on the tummy, maybe an eye bag on your eyes, and we'll stay for 5 minutes in Shavasana. So really making sure that you're comfortable and warm and in a position that you can just completely let go. So making any micro adjustments to your body. Maybe a deep breath in and a long breath out. And then letting go of any special breathing. You have nothing to do. And then slowly, slowly starting to come back. A deeper inhalation. And maybe moving your fingers, moving your toes, removing your eye bag, removing your weight, and hugging your knees up towards your chest, rocking gently from side to side. And then roll over onto one side. And then make your way up to sitting. And thank you very much. Really taking some time to thank yourself for the practice that you just gave to yourself.